The way that we make all the appliance and system templates reusable is by putting all of the keys and configuration into two files that are named keys.yaml and config.yaml. This video will show you how keys.yaml and config.yaml fit into the Agile Cloud Manager's workflow, but let's start out at the beginning of the workflow in order to review. The first thing that happens in a workflow when the Agile Cloud Manager is used is that a pipeline triggers a command line interface command that in turn reaches out and starts running automation algorithms within the Agile Cloud Manager. These automation algorithms then reach out into configuration files that we've talked about, namely an appliance configuration file named acm.yaml that might only be 3 or 4 lines of code or 5 or 6 lines of code, with each line referring to a system configuration file. And then the system configuration files go into some detail in a very simple and easy to understand language about how to structure what's in a system, with several of these system configuration files together interacting with each other to define an appliance. The next thing that happens in the workflow is while the Agile Cloud Manager's automation algorithms are running through the system configuration files, the algorithms read references in the system configuration files to specific values that are either going to be in keys.yaml or in config.yaml. And these specific values in keys.yaml and in config.yaml are what enable the Agile Cloud Manager to operate differently every time you change keys.yaml and config.yaml. In other words, you can run the same appliance templates and the same system templates in parallel 100 different places and have them all work properly if each time you run them, you have different values in keys.yaml and config.yaml, because the keys.yaml and config.yaml are what make the appliance's implementation unique to a different implementation of the same appliance. So this is how the appliance templates and the system templates become reusable, by using keys.yaml and config.yaml as sources of values for the variables. And if we continue with the workflow here, the next step is, once those values from keys.yaml and config.yaml have been retrieved, the algorithms put those values into the proper places defined by the system configuration files so that they can be consumed by the basic building block templates that you already have. You already have templates, for example, in CloudFormation or in Terraform or in Packer or in Azure Resource Manager's ARM templates. And your existing templates in those tools or in others need to receive their own variables as input, and those variables are assembled and sent in using the Agile Cloud Manager's automation algorithms, sourced by values that are stored in keys.yaml and config.yaml as they're defined in the system configuration files. And the result is a cloud appliance. So that, again, if you did this separately, the same steps with different keys.yaml and different config.yaml, you get an identical clone of the cloud appliance someplace else. Now, to make this even more clear, let's highlight the areas we're talking about. First, we're drawing this dashed circle around keys.yaml and config.yaml that store the values. Second, we're drawing another dashed circle around the system configuration files, because those system configuration files contain references to specific values that are stored in keys.yaml and in config.yaml. There's a specific language that's defined in the engineering section of agilecloudinstitute.io, our website, and that specific language is very simple, and it maps values from keys.yaml and config.yaml into the system configuration files so that the values can stay safely stored off in these meta configuration files named keys.yaml and config.yaml, while your templates can be reusable. And the third thing we'll see here is we're also drawing a dashed circle around the basic building block templates you already have, which are in other tools. For example, you might have Terraform modules, and you might have CloudFormation templates, and you might have ARM templates, and you might have Packer templates, and you might have templates in other tools. And these various tools that you already have need to receive values that ultimately are going to be sourced from keys.yaml and from config.yaml. So when you take our hands-on training and you go through the process of getting our demos running, first thing you're going to need to do is to populate keys.yaml and config.yaml. You can download the Agile Cloud Manager for free at agilecloudinstitute.io, and you can hire the Agile Cloud Institute to perform technical support, training, and consulting. You can get more information, and you can contact us through agilecloudinstitute.io.